Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
There has been negative propaganda put out about me that's not true.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Shyne Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
And has really tried to stain my legacy.
The video appears to show Combs punching and kicking the R&B singer who was his longtime girlfriend at the time.
So you're saying you don't steal from artists is what you're saying?
Never.
We made one record with you, Money, Power, Respect. It's 10 years later, and you still got half of our publishing. You're a thief.
Okay.
You're a
Come to
thief.
the office, man.
Fight for your reputation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fight for my reputation. I'm gonna fight for the honorable man I am, the righteous king that I am. I'm not perfect.
It's his fault.
The same way you're sure that I have on a green shirt, I'm certain that he shot me.
You know, what he did to me and my family was, to me, demonic.
He beat that woman till she was crawling up under a car, man.
Puffy just told us to go to the store in Brooklyn and bring him back a cheesecake and walk.
Where Diddy was making comments like, oh, now you're like, you look right, I could you now.
He said, I'ma drug them out. I'ma get them all on drugs, and I'ma pimp their ass out to my...
Yeah, savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
There are no misconceptions about me.
Welcome to Unsolicited, where I make videos about things that nobody asked me to. Diddy is going down. It's time for Kesha to yell timber because bro is cooked. The federal government has officially indicted Shyne Combs on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and transporting individuals to engage in his freak-offs. Diddy has been taken into custody and is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn without bail. This is the same place that has housed other infamous names like R. Kelly and Ghislaine Maxwell. And I heard it's real dirty over there, so I hope he's having a good time. Diddy could be facing up to life in prison for his crimes. This man has a long history of using his power to take advantage of people for his own gain. He's been an evil psycho villain for a long time, and it's finally caught up to him. Let's start from the beginning. Whether you know him as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy, or Love, Shyne Combs has established himself as an icon in the music industry. Born in 1969 Harlem, Diddy was raised by his single mother after his father was unalived in 1974. Diddy actually grew up in the church as an altar boy and even attended an all-boys Catholic school. Around 16 to 17, Diddy started going to the club and dancing and got noticed by different artists and was recruited to dancing music videos.
Around the age of 16, 17, I started dancing, going to the various clubs, and that was during the time when somebody, a big artist like Diana Ross, Fine Young Cannibals, or even Michael Jackson had a video, the directors would come into the clubs and see all the kids that were dancing and pick various dancers to be in the video. So I got picked to be in some of those videos.
Being around the music industry, Diddy grew an interest in not only becoming a rapper, but aspired to be the person in control.
I saw the people behind the scenes and I was like, that's maybe something that I wanted to do. So I started asking questions and getting information on the music industries. I know music, my eye besides just looking at the rap and saying, okay, one day I want to be Heavy D, one day I want to be LL Cool J. I was kind of looking at okay, one day I want to be like Russell Simmons, or I want to be like Berry Gordy or Quincy Jones.
You want to be beyond just an artist, you want to be the person in control.
Yes.
Diddy went around to label owners trying to get a job. He was friends with rapper Heavy D, who connected him with Andre Harrell, the CEO of Uptown Records. Andre gave Diddy an internship at Uptown, working under the head of A&R.
And I was in the A&R department. That stands for Artists and Repertoire. We put the records together, pick the producers, sit down and shape the vision with the artists.
At the same time, Diddy was a student at Howard University, where he was studying business administration and also promoting parties. So he was trying to juggle all of his responsibilities.
But the catch was that I was in school. I was in college at Howard University in DC. And they said that I could work for 2 days, Thursday and Friday. So I had to take the train. I had to leave school. So I played hooky from school, and I was taking the train, getting up at 6 in the morning, taking the train so I could be to work in New York. Only problem was sometimes I didn't have no money. So I was hiding in the bathroom all 4 hours. So the train conductor wouldn't catch me, you know what I'm saying?
But then an opportunity presented itself when the director of A&R left Uptown and Diddy begged Andre for that job.
I was underneath the director of A&R. He left, and Andre Harrell, who's the owner of Uptown, where I was interning at, was about to choose a new A&R director. So I took him out to lunch and I was like, let me give it a chance. And I knew he was making music for a young lifestyle. And so I sat down with him at lunch. I was 18. I was like, basically, there's nobody better to make the music for the young lifestyle but me, because I'm part of that lifestyle. Why don't you just give me a chance, probationary period? So he gave me a chance.
At 19, Diddy became the youngest A&R in music and ended up dropping out of Howard to focus on his career. As A&R at Uptown, Diddy helped to develop artists like Jodeci and Mary J. Blige. He also brought in up-and-coming rapper Biggie Smalls. But it wasn't long before Diddy had his first public controversy. In 1991, Diddy and Heavy D headlined a charity basketball AIDS fundraiser at the City College of New York. The gym at the City College of New York only held around 2,700 people, yet 5,000 people showed up to the event. It was oversold. There were people packed inside and thousands of people outside trying to get in. When celebrities like LL Cool J and Mike Tyson started to show up to the event, the crowd went crazy. The outside security had left their post, and someone from the crowd broke a glass leading to the lobby of the gymnasium, and everyone rushed through the door to the lobby and down a staircase that led to another door that opened to the gym, except the door opened inward towards the staircase, not outward towards the gym. And so the ticket crew grabbed the money and closed the door, leading to 9 people being crushed to death at the bottom of the stairs and 29 other people suffering injuries.
What happened? We got a lot of people here dead in the gymnasium, please. See, the problem is that there's people inside the gymnasium that does not have no pulse and is not breathing.
No criminal charges were filed, but the families of the victims did file wrongful death suits. The event was oversold. Diddy didn't hire enough security and never took responsibility for his actions other than paying some money to the victims' families. He even publicly denied that the event was oversold.
It's his fault. But it's Jessica's fault for shutting the door. Because had she not shut the door, people would have just walked in the gym.
So you really think it's Diddy's fault? Why you believe that?
Because you don't cut security to save $1.
Interestingly, in Peacock's Diddy documentary, one of the victims' family members said that they believe if Diddy faced some repercussions for that event, it would have changed his course. Because it was the first time he ruined people's lives, lied about it, profited off of it, and was able to go about his life like nothing happened. In 1993, Diddy was fired from Uptown Records. According to Andre Harrell, he fired Diddy for his own good.
You made him your A&R man at Uptown. You fired him
But
for many years.
When I fired him, it was like I had an artist in the building, right? Because Puff, as an executive, he really is a very artistic guy. He can make videos, he could style. So I started to branch out in the movies and the television. So then Puff wouldn't really listen to anybody but me. So my full-time job became managing Puff. And I was doing other things. So even when I let Puff go, for the whole time he was let go, he was always on payroll. I never stopped paying him until he found his next spot. His artists were always still getting per diem. Because I didn't do it to hurt him, but I knew it was time for him to grow. And the only way he could grow was if he was going to have the same kind of corporate conversations that I was subjected to. And then he would understand what he could and could not do. So I told Puff, he needs to go and create his own opportunity. You red hot. I'm really letting you go so you can get rich.
Being fired from Uptown led Diddy to establish his very own label, Bad Boy Records, through a joint venture deal with Arista Records. The label started with Craig Mack and Notorious B.I.G., leading them to sign other big-name artists like Faith Evans, Mace, 112, Carl Thomas. Bad Boy's in-house producers, called the Hitmen, worked with artists like Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, Boyz II Men, and Mariah Carey. Biggie, however, was the label's biggest success, and he was dominating the charts, leading to tension with West Coast-based label Death Row Records, ran by Suge Knight. The labels spent the mid-90s throwing shots at each other figuratively through their music, and allegedly, literally. The East vs. West beef truly ignited the first time Tupac got shot in 1994. On the night of November 30th, 1994, Tupac was invited to Quad Recording Studios in Manhattan to record a verse. When he got there, 3 armed men robbed and shot him. He was shot 5 times, and a bullet even grazed his skull. He was with 2 other people when it happened. Neither of them were harmed. In a 1995 interview with Vibe magazine, Tupac talks about getting up after the attack and going up the elevator and seeing Andre Harrell, Diddy, Biggie, and about 40 other guys up there. All of them were wearing more jewelry than he was, yet Pac was the only one in the building who got shot and robbed. Tupac has proclaimed that this was a setup and felt that Biggie knew what was going to happen to him, which was a big betrayal because the 2 of them were good friends before the rivalry. After this incident, The beef escalated, and Biggie and Pac showed their animosity towards each other through their songs and in interviews, giving us diss records like Hit 'Em Up and Who Shot Ya. The beef came to an end when Tupac Shakur was unalived in a drive-by shooting in September of 1996, and Biggie was unalived in the same way just 6 months later in March of 1997. There's been conspiracy theories for years that Diddy had involvement in both of these crimes. A suspect named Dwayne Keefe D. Davis has already been arrested in connection to Tupac's death, but in a 2009 interview with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police, Keefe D. claims that he was paid $1 million by Diddy for a hit on Pac, but Diddy has denied all of this. However, there's a woman in North Carolina that filed a lawsuit against Diddy, claiming that he SA'd her after she suggested that he was involved in Tupac's death. So seems like a sensitive subject. This is Diddy's response after being asked on The Breakfast Club if he had something to do with Tupac's death.
We're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because you listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Pac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
6 months after Tupac's death, Biggie was shot and unalived on March 9th, 1997 at just 24 years old. On March 5th, he did a radio interview because he ironically had an album coming out on March 25th called Life After Death. 2 days later, on March 7th, he went to the Soul Train Awards and was scheduled to travel to London the next day on the 8th. But instead, he and the Bad Boy crew went to a party hosted by Vibe magazine. The crew left and was headed to an after party when Biggie was shot 4 times at a red light. The case remains unsolved, but there are conspiracy theories out there that Diddy was involved. Diddy did admit on the Wendy Williams show that he felt partly guilty for what happened.
Do you ever feel responsible in any way? In any way?
I mean, the thing that I think I always feel some sort of, responsibility because I'm in this thing with him. You know what I'm saying? He's my artist, and he was supposed to go to London that night, and I let him talk me into, not going to London and staying in LA, and that's something that really bothered me, throughout my life. Is sometimes you have to really go with that decision in your gut, and in my gut I was like, you need to get on the plane, but sometimes when you don't listen to your gut, and this is God's world, it's his plan.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's one of the things I regret, not making sure that he went to London.
According to Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, Diddy was acting strange the days leading up to Biggie's death. He says Diddy was anxiously trying to get Biggie to go to the Vibe party. The whole week, Biggie is saying he's going to London, and Diddy is saying he's not going to London, which is interesting.
I guess Puffy talks Biggie into actually attending?
Yo, that whole week, man, Puff was like, yo, man, yo, Big, you gotta come to this party.
According to Gene, Biggie's death wasn't a drive-by like we've been told. And interestingly, Diddy actually told Gene that he could have the night off the night that Biggie died.
Wasn't no drive-by. Car was standing there at the corner. Before we left Andre Harrell's house, Puff told me I didn't have to go. I went because I knew that somebody was gonna die that night. Somebody was gonna get shot. I did everything in my power to stop it from being Puff, and it wasn't Puff, because that was my principle. The people that was bodyguarding Big didn't do everything in their power to stop it from being Big, and that hurts me, even though it wasn't my principle.
Allegedly, Biggie actually wanted to cut ties with Bad Boy in the months leading up to his death, and his lawyers were trying to get his publishing rights back from Diddy. Diddy allegedly told the lawyers, "I will never give it up until I'm dead and my bones are crushed into powder." Hip-hop photographer Monique Bunn is quoted saying, "Biggie was absolutely about to leave Puff. I know for a fact because he told me that. Everybody wanted to leave Puffy. Everybody leaves him." Which is true. Everyone leaves him, which we'll talk about in a few. Diddy has, of course, denied any involvement in the death of Biggie, but if anybody had something to gain from Biggie's death, it was Diddy. 2 weeks after Biggie's death, his posthumous album Life After Death was released, yielding #1 singles like Hypnotized and Mo Money Mo Problems. The album became diamond certified, selling 21 million copies in the US. Later, in the summer of 1997, under the name Puff Daddy, Diddy released his first commercial work as an artist with his debut album No Way Out, with the leading single being I'll Be Missing You featuring Faith Evans, a tribute to Biggie, which became the first rap song to ever debut at #1 and remained at the top of the charts for 11 weeks. He ended up winning the Grammy for Best Rap Album in 1998, and the album was certified platinum. Mase became Diddy's new protege, filling the gap that Biggie left. He released his album Harlem World, which went quadruple platinum. Bad Boy also found success with the rap group The Lock, releasing their debut album Money, Power, Respect, which was met with major commercial success. Bad Boy also saw success with young rapper Shyne from Brooklyn, and Shyne actually credits Diddy for ruining his life. As a young rapper, Shyne was freestyling in Brooklyn and caught the attention of DJ Clark Kent, who introduced him to Diddy. Diddy signed Shyne to Bad Boy. Shyne was featured on the records of other Bad Boy artists and released his own debut album with singles like Bad Boys and Bonnie and Shyne. However, Shyne faced backlash because his deep flow caused comparisons between him and Biggie. This caused a rift between Shyne and Biggie's affiliate group, Junior Mafia. One of the members of Junior Mafia, Lil C's, actually shot at Shyne, prompting him to start carrying around a pew-pew for protection. On December 27, 1999, Shyne went to a club in Manhattan with Diddy and his girlfriend at the time, J-Lo. Witnesses say that felon Matthew Scar Allen started an argument with Diddy, threw money at him, and that's when they pulled out their pew-pews, shots were fired, and 3 bystanders were injured. Witnesses say they saw both Diddy and Shyne shoot. According to Shyne, though, he shot in the air, and he doesn't believe any of his shots hurt the bystanders. In fact, one of the victims maintains that Diddy's the one who shot her.
As they came through with that kind of mentality, they bumped into Scar's back. They pushed him, and his drink went in his face. He elbowed back, like, get off of me. When he elbowed back, they tried to push. And that's when they got into this whole interaction, like, yo, one of the guys that was with Scar, apparently Puffy gestured in some type of way that they didn't like. And one of the guys that was with Scar slapped him in the face with a wad of money. I see Shyne, I hear the raised voices, and I see Shyne and Puffy start backing back. So as they were backing back, they were drawing from their hip. And I turned to tell my friend, like, ooh, girl, watch out. Oh my God. As I turned back to look at them, I watched them bow, bow. Both of them fired, and the muzzle flash was like, psh, psh. Shyne's muzzle flash was a little higher. I watched them both fire their guns. I watched them. I got hit right here in my nose, in between my eyes, which means I'm facing directly at you. The same way you're sure that I have on a green shirt, I'm certain that he shot me. Now, was he aiming at me? Was I the object of his fire? Absolutely not. I should not have been, because I didn't do anything to him. Bullets don't have names, and they don't have predetermined destinations. Once they come out of the gun, they're going to go wherever they go. Because you might be a thug, but it doesn't mean you have good aim. And trust me, everybody else knew what happened too. You know how many people in the club were talking about this all around New York? Everybody knew he did it. They just had the power, the influence, and the money to get around town and shut people down and pay them for their silence. I personally know people who were paid for their silence.
Diddy and Shyne went to trial. Diddy was represented by Big Dogs Benjamin Braffman and Johnny Cochran, while Shyne was represented by Murray Richmond. Interestingly, all of these lawyers have been on Bad Boy's payroll, creating a conflict of interest. Shyne says in his 2024 documentary that he believes that his lawyer, Murray Richmond, conspired with Benjamin Braffman to throw out the trial so Shyne could take the fall.
Can you talk a bit about that and when you learned that they were on the Bad Boy payroll?
Well, it was always on the payroll, you dig, but that was at a point where I thought that was my comrade. So, you know, I ain't have it like
sense.
that. Yeah, right. You know, I was a fledgling artist. Like, you know, Shyne album didn't come out yet, so I didn't really have it like that. But at the point where, you know, he calling the witnesses, you know, to do me dirty, then you understand that, you know, well, man, if these guys is working for him, because I went to the judge like 3 times complaining about inefficiency with my lawyers, because they was just dumbing out. Like, witnesses be on the stand, they would ask them 2 questions that didn't make sense and then sit down. It's obvious that they was selling me, you understand, in order to appease him. You know, there was a dual loyalty there.
After a 7-week trial, Shyne was convicted on 2 counts of assault and reckless endangerment, as well as criminal possession of an illegal weapon. Diddy's team called in a key witness in the case that testified that Diddy did not have a weapon and that Shyne fired first.
It's not a matter of, you know, turning your back on me. Like, how do you call a witness to testify against your comrade? If I'm telling you that she's lying and you saying, hey, you know, well, she helping me, but I'm facing 25 years, and you looking at probation. Yeah, those are the things that, you understand, are unacceptable. You don't have to hold my hand. You don't have to do nothing, but don't try to hurt me. This woman was the most damaging witness of any witness. She was worse than the prosecution's witness, which destroyed me, because the prosecution is saying I'm this belligerent, reckless, you know, okay, corralled fella. And then my co-defendant is saying the same thing? That was it.
I did not force anybody or tell anybody to say anything that would damage or hurt Shyne's case. I just wouldn't do that. That would not be my intent whatsoever.
Diddy had originally been arrested for criminal possession and bribery for paying his driver to say the weapon was his, but both him and his bodyguard, who was also present, were acquitted of all charges. J-Lo was never charged. And in the media, Diddy maintained that he was innocent, saying he never had a weapon.
I do not own a gun, nor did I possess a gun that night, and under no circumstances whatsoever did I have anything to do with a shooting.
Diddy lied about everything that happened and used his money and power to be acquitted, and allowed his young 22-year-old protege to take the fall and become a convicted felon. In 2001, Shyne was sentenced to 10 years in prison without the eligibility for parole until 2009. He served his time at the Clinton Correctional Facility in New York. When Shyne was released from prison in 2009, he ended up being deported back to his home country of Belize, even though his mother brought him to New York when he was 7 years old. Today, Shyne is a politician and is a member of the House of Representatives in Belize.
Did you see any behavior then that indicated some of the allegations we hear about now?
I never saw anything that's being alleged. I was incarcerated, so I don't know what this gentleman was doing. I don't know his lifestyle, but I could say someone that was prepared to sacrifice his friend, his brother, his protege, someone that was prepared to have me sit in jail, to totally destroy my career, destroy my life, rob me of my freedom, to be a participant in that. Of course, it doesn't surprise me that he would be accused of the atrocious things that he is, because, what he did to me and my family, was to me demonic.
The whole Shyne situation really bothers me. I cannot fathom how someone could be so evil and ruin somebody else's life with no remorse. The man just straight up lies through his teeth. Like, it's astonishing. But I am happy that Shyne was able to rise above the situation, and look how the tables have turned, because guess who's sitting in a cell right now? With all the success in the mid to late 90s, as the 2000s emerged, there was a major decline in Bad Boy. Album sales were declining, the label wasn't making as much money, and many of their artists were leaving. Bad Boy's biggest artist, Mase, abruptly left the music industry in 1999 at the height of his career to become an ordained minister. He was compelled to get closer to God after experiencing so much negativity around him, from Biggie's death to Bad Boy's legal issues. Mase didn't want to be around that lifestyle anymore. Mase came out of his retirement a couple times, but faced issues with the label as Diddy did not want to release him from his label requirements. Mase actually ran up on Diddy during a radio interview to ambush him into signing papers that gave him freedom.
After Puff signing, it's official. Your boy is Freedom Bird.
We get it.
Like, Mase is out here, he's doing this thing. He's cooking up right now. And just to be clear, he has the freedom to go do whatever, he wants to do, you know what I'm saying?
What's that mean, Puff?
Yeah, I mean, he could, a lot of times
He can work.
You can work. People have felt like, like our situation, I may have stopped him or whatever. He could do whatever he wanted to do. I'm trying to make sure everybody's crystal clear. Everybody's crystal clear. If you want those Mase verses, you can go get your hustle on right now. You know he got a slick tongue though. He's a mean negotiator, so you better come with that guap though.
But the radio show wasn't the end of the Diddy and Mase drama. Although Diddy signed papers making Mase a free agent able to feature on other artists' songs, he still retained his publishing rights. In 2020, Mase claimed that he offered Diddy $2 million for his publishing rights, and Diddy declined. Diddy then says on The Breakfast Club that Mase actually owes him $3 million.
The Mase thing, I did one album with Mase. One album. How much money do you think I owe this guy? One album? And then he became a fake pastor and went and conned people? And then y'all gonna let him throw dirt on the God's name?
How much money does, and I'm just throwing this out, how much money does somebody like a Mase owe you? Because the reason I say that—
Mase owes me $3 million. That's facts. I got the receipt.
Second album, you gave money to do second album, never delivered.
Did the album, never delivered. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to go back and forth with Mase. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going back and forth with nobody.
Mase isn't the only Bad Boy artist who fought with Diddy over publishing rights. He did the same thing to the rap group The Lox. Long after the group cut ties with Bad Boy, Diddy still retained 50% of their publishing rights. In 2005, they got into a heated argument with Diddy on the Angie Martinez show.
But don't sit here and portray like Puff took nothing from y'all. What is it? What is it? What do you call it? What do you call it? What do you call it? And don't say we can come in your office or do none of that, because we can't do none of that. We can't handle it no other way but with lawyers, and you know that, so don't get on the radio and act like a tough guy or none of that.
Wait, you know how we can settle?
You acting tough.
I'm in my office, so why don't we stop talking on the radio?
Now, you want people to stop talking because you just don't want to know the truth, dog. We made one record with you, Money, Power, Respect. It's 10 years later, and you still got half of our publishing. Now, there's no way you can make it justifiable that you deserve half of our publishing.
You never said nothing to my face. We just at the concert. You ain't saying nothing.
What are we going to do, saying it to your face? Get sued? What do you want us to do? We can't touch. We can't be violent or none of that. We can't even have. You saying all this, dog? 2 years ago, levels in Miami.
Let's real recognize real. Y'all know where the office is at. There's a big sign on it. I'm gonna be here.
The whole National Guard's downstairs too. Cut it out, man. We can't talk
in this. I'm a grown ass man, man.
You're a coward.
And I don't take nothing.
You're a thief, you're a coward. Don't say you're a thief.
Okay.
You're a thief.
Come to the office, man. Come to the office so we can straighten it out there.
Yo, how we just 3 guys you don't even mess with. You had your Ace publishing.
You call me whatever you want.
You won't let his publishing go.
I'm at the office.
You won't let your man's publishing go.
We will argue in front of New York. That's the way you want.
Do you own your man's publishing, dog?
Nothing to y'all, man.
Do you own your man's publishing?
New York could believe it or whatever. I don't
Do you own your man's publishing?
I can sleep good at night because I ain't never did nothing to y'all. And if y'all ever want to,
dog, you had a whole bunch of artists that never like us, Puffy. That's it, dog. You had a bunch of artists whose careers never went right with you, dog. Be for real, dog. Look at the list. Look at your list. We don't want to be violent. You the artist that did best for yourself. Look at your list, dog. Look at all the artists you dealt with. Look at the situation they dealt with. You know, 12 not happy with you gone. Faith not happy with you gone. We not happy with you gone. Faith not happy with you gone.
Diddy ended up hanging up on the Locks because he couldn't handle the truth. In the argument, the Locks brought up a great point to Diddy. They said, look at the outcome of bad boy artists. They either end up dead, in jail, or with lost potential because they were never allowed to flourish.
If you think that I'm a scumbag that would ever steal anything, my name is Diddy, Sean Combs. I never took nothing from nobody a day in my life. All I've ever given is opportunity and more money than a person was making. I came here, I had to open up the doors.
So you're saying you don't steal from artists is what you're saying?
Never.
So how does a narrative like that happen with so many different people?
Because people have this thing called the tap out button. When you get to a certain point and the money is running low, you gotta run this hustle to try to find somebody to blame. You know what I'm saying? I have all my receipts. And so we are gonna do a special, a retrospective with all the artists, and we're gonna get this narrative clear. Fight for your reputation. I'm gonna fight for my reputation. I'm gonna fight for the honorable man I am, the righteous king that I am. I'm not perfect, you know what I'm saying? There could have been an accountant mess up on this one or that one, things that happen in the business. But me actually, like, I'm running a hustle to get money. I started delivering papers at 12 years old. I was a millionaire when I was 19, you know what I'm saying? And so I will be making sure that the truth comes out, because that's not going down in my legacy. And to me, that's the worst thing in the world, is a thief. The thief is the worst thing. His hand should be chopped. Her hand should be chopped off.
Fast forward to 2023, Diddy decided to release publishing rights back to bad boy artists, saying that he wants to empower them to have control over their music rights. But the kicker is, to get these rights back, the artists needed to sign an NDA, saying that they would never publicly disparage Diddy, Bad Boy Records, Janice Combs, Justin Combs Music, EMI, or Sony, essentially buying their silence. It's really predatory how labels will get young, aspiring artists to sign these contracts, signing away the rights to the music that they created, allowing people like Diddy to pop up in every music video bopping his head like he did something. Meanwhile, all he does is collect the checks while the artists do the work. And Diddy showed us a long time ago on reality TV just how crooked of a label owner he was. In 2002, Diddy becomes executive producer of the reality TV show Making the Band. Making the Band was a talent search show on MTV where they would find unknown rappers and singers and make a group out of them. The groups would compete to be signed to Diddy's label, Bad Boy. The show spawned groups like The Band, Danity Kane, and Day 26. Diddy fully showed the world that he was a villain on this show. He would mistreat and verbally abuse contestants.
Juanita, what's your stomach looking like? For real, are you feeling a little thick?
I always feel thick next to these skinny chicks.
You're like a burger away.
It's a pimp and hoe situation. I feel like a hoe that's just been pimped, and that's it.
Orby, you ain't got nothing to say? You got such a big mouth when I'm going. What you got to say? Say it now.
One of the most memorable moments of the show was when Diddy told the members of the band to walk miles to Brooklyn across the Brooklyn Bridge in the winter to get him a cheesecake. They couldn't take a car, taxi, bus, nada. He wanted them to suffer.
You could possibly, I'm starving too. You know something? I want me a piece of cheesecake. You know where to get the cheesecake spot is at? Downtown. Yeah. And y'all can walk from here, get the cheesecake, see the city, enjoy the sights, would you? Take him over the Brooklyn Bridge, let that wind hit him off the water. See how y'all feel as a group.
It's not about me trying to do a mean-spirited initiation hazing act to them. It's a bigger picture to it. In the world of music, I gotta get up every day and do a bunch of that I don't wanna do. But I do want some cheesecake.
You know what Junior's is at? Yo, fam, Puffy just told us to go to the store in Brooklyn and bring him back a cheesecake and walk.
Dad, see me on TV, some punk ass shows. It's crazy.
It's called Making the Bitch, not Making the Band.
Freddie P, a former member of the band, has come out and spoke about the mistreatment he experienced under Diddy and said that he felt like Making the Band was created for artists to fail. Diddy actually is being sued by Making the Band contestant Sarah Rivers. She hit him with a $60 million lawsuit claiming she suffered inhumane treatment during the filming of the show. She says that Diddy inappropriately touched her chest while telling her if she needs anything to let him know. She says that Diddy would threaten group members' lives and that he was emotionally abusive and controlling. He would control her sleeping and eating habits and mock her bulimia. She also included the infamous cheesecake incident in her suit, saying she was forced into unpaid manual labor. She also says that Diddy interfered with her music career by blackballing her in the industry. Diddy's team responded to this suit saying, "This is yet another example of false claims being filed against Mr. Combs. No matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never SA'd or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. We live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason. With the deadline for New York's Gender-Motivated Violence Act expiring tomorrow, it's clear that opportunists are rushing to file last-minute, meritless claims. Mr. Combs remains confident he will prevail in court." Yeah, okay. That man sat up on that show, taunted and verbally abused artists, played with these people's dreams, and had no real plans to make them successful.
No plans. That's all. That was all from MTV show. Them kids is having nightmares right now, bruh, for that cheesecake, going over the Brooklyn Bridge, walking all the way over there, hoping that they was going to get a deal, hoping they was going to do something with him. And he had no plans of doing none of that shit. He really had no plans for Danity Kane. And they sold records.
Danity Kane was a girl group formed for Making the Band, the most successful group from the show. Their self-titled debut album sold 1 million copies and had 2 hit singles, Showstopper and Damaged. Even though the group achieved success, Diddy never believed in them and didn't want to put any money into the group. He was more concerned about the TV show because he owned everything associated with it and was making so much money.
Our label didn't believe in us. We were a show. Like, one Puff saw money. Like, he saw ratings, and MTV was that was what the money was. Danity Kane was just a concept of something bigger, right? He had no clue we were gonna be that big. I'll tell you, when we first came out, they said only do 100,000 copies because they're not gonna sell more than Cassie. That's what they told us when the first album came out. We sold 100,000 in a day, and they had to figure out how to get more units in by the time the week, and they barely got it, and we wound up selling 230,000 copies, and we could have sold more. We were in the Guinness Book of Records forever, but
y'all were limited because they didn't have enough product.
They didn't believe in it. They didn't think we would. They didn't think we would sell. They had no clue we would be that big. And then we got out there, and when we toured, they wouldn't give us any money, so we were sewing our costumes from Forever 21.
No, who wouldn't give you any money?
The label.
The label. Which label was that?
We were on Bad Boy.
Danity Kane had 2 double platinum albums, went on tour with Christina Aguilera, and was featured on Making the Band, yet they did not see $1 from all their hard work.
So $48 million somebody made on me.
Yeah.
I did not make anything. When I said I did Christina Aguilera for free, I didn't do Christina Aguilera for free, but the record label recouped it all. We were in debt at the end of that tour.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So I worked for free for the first 6-7 years of my career, basically, and also MTV was not paying us. And
on top of being financially exploited, members of Danity Kane were subjected to verbal abuse and unwanted advances.
On where Diddy was making comments like, "Oh, now you're f***able, like you look right, I could f*** you now."
How was it predatory? Somebody constantly treating you like a piece of meat, only valuing you for your appeal, and in some of the environments, you know, it was even scary to be by yourself.
Those girls, Danity Kane, he stood up there and he said in front of a lot of people, we were in the studio, he said, I'ma drug them out. I'm gonna get them all on drugs and I'm gonna pimp their ass out to my... And I was like, there's somebody kids.
According to D. Woods, Diddy sent Aubrey inappropriate photos and messages about the things he wanted to do to her. D. Woods also said that she believes that Diddy ended up firing her and Aubrey from Danity Kane because they didn't succumb to his advances.
I wasn't willing to do what was expected of me. Not talent-wise, but in other areas.
When Diddy dissolved Danity Kane, he decided to keep Dawn Richard on his label Bad Boy.
As far as for you, Dawn, I still want to make music with you. I still want you to be signed to the label. And, you know.
Dawn started out writing music for bad boy artists like Cassie, and later started releasing her own music as a part of Diddy's Dirty Money collective. Dawn Richard actually sued Diddy for allegedly SAing her, saying that she was inappropriately grabbed and told to strip. She's also suing for unpaid wages from Danity Kane's 2 albums and over 100 dates of touring. In her lawsuit, she says that she has witnessed Diddy physically assaulting multiple women, including his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. In the lawsuit, she reveals that during seasons 3 and 4 of Making the Band, Diddy deprived them of adequate food and sleep, and that he would have them rehearsing and filming for 36 to 48 hours without breaks. Dawn recalls seeing Diddy throw a scalding hot pan of eggs at Cassie, causing her to fall to the floor in fetal position, and Diddy warned her not to say anything about what she saw, telling her people go missing for talking. Dawn also brings up multiple occasions where she was at a Diddy party and girls who looked underage were there performing certain acts, looking to be under the influence of substances. Diddy's lawyer responded to Dawn's suit saying, Mr. Combs is shocked and disappointed by this lawsuit. In an attempt to rewrite history, Dawn Richard has now manufactured a series of false claims, all in the hopes of trying to get a payday, conveniently timed to coincide with her album release and press tour. If Miss Richard had such a negative experience with Making the Band and Danity Kane, she would not have chosen to continue working directly with Mr. Combs for Dirty Money, nor would she have returned for the Making the Band reboot in 2020, or agreed to be featured on the Love album last year. It's unfortunate that Miss Richard has cast their 20-year friendship aside to try and get money from him, but Mr. Combs is confidently standing on truth and looks forward to proving that in court. Dawn is just one of the many women who have a story about Diddy. Diddy was not only mistreating the artists who worked for him, but the women in his personal life as well. Diddy's first serious public relationship was with Misa Hilton, who he shares his first biological son Justin with. Diddy and Misa first met in the early 90s when Diddy was transitioning from being an intern at Uptown to being A&R. Misa, who was in high school at the time, was aspiring to be a stylist. She worked as Diddy's assistant after school, and he even gave her the job of styling Jodeci for their Gotta Love music video. Their son, Justin Combs, was born in 1993, and they split shortly after.
Without getting all into your business, why do you think you and him split?
Young youth. You know, we were very young. Our lives changed just like that, really quickly. And, you know, he wanted to experience life in a different way. He's a young guy. He's popping. You know, he's becoming famous and rich, you know, really quickly. And you know, he wasn't ready to like settle down and get married, you know.
Throughout the years, they've remained cordial for their son Justin. However, in 2024, when the video of Diddy assaulting Cassie was released, Misa releases a statement saying, I am heartbroken that Cassie must relive the horror of her abuse, and my heart goes out to her. I know exactly how she feels, and through my empathy, it has triggered my own trauma. Gene Deal says that he heard a story from someone who witnessed Diddy harm Misa so bad that she ran under a car.
Puff beat him because of the Eric Sermon. He thought she was dating Eric Sermon. He had dropped her off. He got mad
and started beating on her. He beat that woman till she was crawling up under a car, man.
Maybe one day Misa will come out and share her own story. In 1994, Diddy meets his longtime on and off gang girlfriend, Kim Porter. Kim was a receptionist at Uptown Records at the same time that Diddy was an A&R there. At the time, Diddy was still with Misa, and Kim was with singer Albie Shore, who she shares a son Quincy with. Albie says he was with Kim one day, and Diddy laid eyes on her and said that he wished he had a beautiful girl like that, even though he was in a relationship with Misa. And as we already know, when Diddy wants something, he gets it.
Yeah. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Kim is described as his arm candy. Everywhere they went, Diddy flew in glam to make sure she looked perfect. He was super possessive over her, and he didn't want Al around. In the Diddy documentary on Peacock, Al says that Kim told him that he needed to stay away from her and their son, or else he would get hurt, which may or may not be true. Al in general just wasn't around, and so Diddy raised Quincy as his own from the time he was 3 years old. In 1999, Kim and Diddy have their son Christian, and the same year, they break up and Diddy starts dating J-Lo. Diddy and J-Lo date for about 2 years, and then he and Kim get back together in 2003. In 2006, Kim is pregnant with twins, and a friend of hers tells her that Diddy got another woman pregnant. That woman was Sarah Chapman, and their daughter Chance was born in July of 2006, 5 months before Kim's twins Jesse and Delilah were born in December of 2006. And the kicker is, Diddy didn't even tell Kim himself until after the twins were born. Diddy and Kim broke up, but continued to co-parent their kids and were still close friends. In November of 2018, Kim was found unresponsive in her home. Her cause of death was ruled to be lobar pneumonia. She was only 47. Kim's death was very shocking and unexpected. Just a month prior, she was at the premiere of her son Quincy's Christmas movie, The Holiday Calendar. It was all very sudden. Even Albie refers to Kim's death as a murder in the Diddy documentary. There's a conspiracy theory that Kim was writing a tell-all book about her life with Diddy and that she knew too much, so Diddy had to get rid of her. And the details surrounding her death are definitely strange. On November 12th, she was seen by a doctor who documented that she had 102 fever and was negative for cold and flu. She was given Toradol for pain, IV fluids, and vitamins. The next day, a nurse came over to give her more saline and vitamins because she said she had no appetite. The day after that, she was complaining of blood-streaked mucus and then went to bed watching TV and never woke up. What's interesting is that the first coroner on the Kim Porter case, Ed Winter, allegedly found signs of foul play, but unfortunately ended up passing away from natural causes at 73. Before his death, Ed was asked to conduct a second autopsy on Kim, but ended up passing away before the report could be completed, which is a crazy coincidence. Kim definitely knew a lot about Diddy, and she allegedly was also a victim of his abuse. There's rumors that Diddy would harm Kim so bad that he would have to send her away so that nobody could see her. Rumors that he broke her nose, then paid for her to get a nose job. Rumors that he was so possessive that he was wiretapping her phone to see who she was talking to. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, even recalls overhearing Diddy abuse Kim behind closed doors. Gene also says that Kim's story is very similar to Cassie's, but Kim isn't here to tell us. The children of Kim Porter have put out a statement saying, "We've seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, as well as about our mom's tragic passing, that we feel we need to speak out. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not. And anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. The cause of her death has long been established. There was no foul play. We are deeply saddened that the world has made a spectacle of what has been the most tragic event of our lives. Our mother should be remembered for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was. Her memory should not be tainted by horrific conspiracy theories. We ask that everyone please respect our mother, Kim Porter, and hold her legacy in high regard so that she may rest in peace. It's what she deserves. We love you and miss you, Mommy, Quincy, Christian, Jesse, and Delilah." Basically, the kids said, keep our mom's name out your mouth, and Diddy's our daddy, and we finna stick beside him. But there's no denying that bad things happen to the people around him.
Uptown Records started with 5 people: Andre Harrell, Albie Shore, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died it was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. And Al B. Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest motherfucker, because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning.
You know who's alive and well though? Cassie. And Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy was the catalyst to his downfall. I talked in detail about the Cassie and Diddy lawsuit in this Surviving Diddy video that I did, but here is a quick summary. In 2005, 19-year-old Cassie met 37-year-old Diddy and signed to his label Bad Boy Records under a 10-album deal, which is insane. It just goes to show that he had plans from the beginning to lock Cassie down long term. She released her debut album with Bad Boy with her hit single, Me and You. Cassie entered a 10-year-long relationship with Diddy, her boss. He was controlling, abusive, and introduced her to a lifestyle of drugs and freak-offs. Diddy physically assaulted Cassie during the relationship, SA'd her, and would give her substances and have her engage in what he called freak-offs, where he would fly in people to engage in certain activities with Cassie while he watched and recorded them. The lawsuit also discusses the ways Diddy would try to intimidate Cassie, like making her hold his pew-pew in her purse just to show her how dangerous he was. Cassie tried to leave on multiple occasions, but Diddy would have people find her and threaten her. He even had Kid Cudi's car blown up when he found out that he was interested in Cassie. Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy was settled the day after she filed it, which speaks volumes. Diddy's team released a statement after the settlement saying, "Just so we're clear, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is in no way an admission of wrongdoing. Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He's happy they got to a mutual settlement and wishes Miss Ventura the best." In March of 2024, Diddy's home in LA was raided by the feds. They handcuffed his sons Justin and Christian and seized firearms, drugs, and 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. A few months after Cassie's settlement, in May of 2024, surveillance footage from 2016 is released showing Diddy in a hotel towel attacking Cassie as she's trying to escape him. Diddy had allegedly bribed hotel staff to delete the surveillance footage. With this video, the public finally got to see with their own eyes just how evil this man is. Following the release of the footage, Diddy comes out with a weak little apology video, acting like the hotel incident was the only time he hurt Cassie.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you gotta do that. I was f***ed up. I mean, I hit rock bottom. But I made no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy. I'm going to rehab. Had to ask God for His mercy and grace. I'm so sorry, but I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
Cassie's lawsuit set off a domino effect, and multiple lawsuits accusing Diddy of SA dating all the way back to the 90s are filed, including a lawsuit involving a 17-year-old girl being taken advantage of in 2003. I'm not going to go through each and every lawsuit because it's a lot, but they all generally involve the victims allegedly being drugged and SA'd by Diddy. Many of the SAs occurred from victims attending one of Diddy's parties. Diddy had to step down as chairman of Revolt, brands started pulling out of his companies, Hulu scraps plans for a Combs family reality show. Diddy's team responded to the mountain of lawsuits, saying enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I've sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. Shyne, the Diddler Combs. More lawsuits continue to come out against Diddy throughout the rest of 2024 until finally in September of 2024, Diddy is arrested for running a racketeering conspiracy that included sex trafficking, forced labor, and bribery. The indictment states, for decades, Sean Combs abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and the influence of his multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant.
On October 1st, 2024, a team of lawyers announced that they would be filing around 120 lawsuits against Diddy for assaults that took place during the 2000s and 2010s. The plaintiffs are both male and female, some even minors. These lawsuits share a similar theme of being drugged, SA'd, and offered hush money. And there are potentially other defendants to be named in these lawsuits. Names that will shock you, they say. So there definitely are other big name people in the industry who will be going down with Diddy. It's definitely interesting that people in the industry have known about Diddy's activities for years, and it's taken this long for him to finally get his day in court. And Diddy has been dropping hints that we are just now looking back on like, yeah, that was odd.
If you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah.
Rock with me, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
The fact that he even knows that heat affects the alcohol just shows that he has these freak-offs down to a science. What's crazy is that there are people in the industry who have publicly shown support for Diddy, like Boozy and Kanye West. I don't understand how anyone can support him the way all these lawsuits are coming at him. His team must be so delusional the way they keep releasing these statements saying people are lying and just trying to get money from him. Meanwhile, he's facing a whole federal case. Yeah, okay, all the victims are lying, and so are the feds. Be so for real. Diddy's lawyers gotta be working overtime, especially since one of Diddy's lawyers, Anthony Rico, stepped down from the case, saying, although I have provided Sean Combs with a high level of legal representation expected by the court, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs. For his own lawyer to say he can't represent him, that evidence must be super incriminating. Diddy is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where he awaits his trial, which is supposed to start in May of 2025. Diddy has been denied bail 3 times, even after offering the court $50 million. The sexual assault lawsuits against Diddy continue to pile up, yet he still maintains his innocence, and his family continues to support him. Diddy is a villain and has been a villain for a very long time. He's a physical embodiment of a demon. He's used and abused people for far too long, and what's done in the dark must always come to light. It's time for justice to be served for all of his victims. They better lock him up under the jail for life. The end. That's it, y'all. That's the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. All the things that YouTubers be telling people to do, and I'll see you next time. Bye!